The original idea with GM was that we would partner on the Badger pickup truck. They would provide their Ultium battery and their Hydrotech fuel cell system, and we would provide the concept and the design. But more importantly, the relationship was going to be about the technology that GM can help bring to the table here at Nikola. The Badger was something we were doing because a lot of people were interested in it. And we said from the beginning that if we build the Badger, it will be with a partner. If we don't have a partner, we probably won't build the Badger.
So why did Nikola end up saying that that video, the truck, the motion in one video, the truck was moving by itself when it clearly wasn't?
Our point is that the Nikola One was a groundbreaking prototype, and we learned a lot from building it, and that helped give birth to the business model that we've been following in the years since.
Is Nikola currently producing any hydrogen?
Nikola is not producing hydrogen at the moment.
As of Q2 of 2020, the only revenue that Nikola has recorded has come from solar panel installations for Milton. Even the CEO seemed confused by this.
I'm not sure exactly why that was included.
Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in this video, I'm watching a few clips from a recent CNBS update/documentary on Nikola Motor Corporation, the company who to date have done a lot of talking and approximately zero walking, unless you count dragging a truck up a hill and rolling it down and filming it and trying to pass it off as in motion. With Trevor Milton, Nikola's founder and ex-executive chairman, now having voluntarily stepped down following allegations of fraud, lies, deception and sexual misconduct, it's worth checking in on some of the promises previously made because Trevor did a whole lot of talking, and I mean a whole lot of talking. Regular viewers of the channel will already be familiar with my thoughts regarding Nikola. In short, a steaming pile of vaporware. But maybe these updates can change my mind, so let's get into the video. But first, don't forget if you'd like 3 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull, sign up, open a new account, deposit $100, you'll get 3 free stocks, 2 of them valued between $8 and $1,600 each, and if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
With the SEC and the DOJ now both reportedly looking into Nikola, and the company's deal with GM uncertain, what does the future hold for the one-time Wall Street darling? CNBC visited Nikola's headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona to get a first-hand look at its Nikola 2 hydrogen fuel cell truck prototype.
So he's going to turn on the system, so he pushes that button and it'll turn on the high voltage system.
And to find out if Nikola can be a real contender in the emerging hydrogen truck market. The morning of our visit, CNBC met with members of Nikola's team at a racetrack near the company's headquarters. The Nikola 2 prototype that we saw was built about 2 years ago, but there were some technical difficulties.
So the fuel cell did not boot up. Okay. We need to cycle T15 or?
Let me see. On the screen it works.
There's no current output from the fuel cell.
Ooh, that's awkward. Maybe just give it a push.
CNBC returned to the track a few hours later when the Nikola team was able to get the semi going. Nikola, along with GM, also plans to build a consumer pickup truck called the Badger. CNBC did not get to see the Badger while in Phoenix. So far, only renderings of the vehicle have been made available.
And the reason for that? There is no fucking Badger. It does not exist. It is a computer-generated piece of vaporware with imaginary specifications. It doesn't exist. Trevor Milton himself said publicly in interviews the reason that they developed the Badger, and I mean developed as in rendered a few pictures of it, was to lure in retail investors into Nikola stock. I'm not even kidding. Look.
Once we started coming out, we had all this gravy train coming in from the semi-truck program. My question was, okay, that's great, but I'll never touch the average consumer. So therefore, 90% of investors will probably never invest in me. So I needed to touch the consumer. And so the truck is for the profit, the semi-truck, the pickup truck's for the consumer. And the consumer is the one who is part of the Robinhood portfolio, is part of the family office or whatever. And that's where all the valuation of the company comes from.
Nikola said the pickup was not slated to debut until December.
For those playing along at home, December 3rd, in fact, happened to be the exact day that Nikola would unveil the Badger at Nikola World. Fancy that. Target retail investors, release CGIs and mock-ups of a product that doesn't exist. Hype it up, pump the stock, then unveil the product after finding a partner in December 3rd, the same exact week that inside shareholders of Nikola stock, who are currently locked up and cannot sell their shares, are able to sell their shares. The exact same timing. Wow. Could it be that the Nikola Badger was designed to pump up the Nikola stock price for all of the insiders who would then be able to sell during the Nikola World event running over 3 days, the world seeing this amazing new pickup truck? Or is it a total coincidence, the timing and the strategy and Trevor Milton literally saying that they're targeting retail investors by creating this Badger product? I mean, you decide.
The original idea with GM was that we would partner on the Badger pickup truck. They would provide their Ultium battery and their Hydrotech fuel cell system, and we would provide the concept and the design. But more importantly, the relationship was going to be about the technology that GM can help bring to the table here at Nikola.
This deal was a gigantic red flag, which I discussed at the time. I won't bore you with all the details. Check out the link in the corner if you'd like to see the video discussing this particular deal. However, the question I ask you guys now, does it sound, by the way that Mark, the CEO of Nikola, is talking about this deal, the idea was, the plan was that they would, that we would. Does this sound like a deal that's still underway, that's likely to actually come to fruition?
For General Motors, it seemed like a can't lose proposition initially because they essentially get to ride the coattails of this SPAC trend where somebody gets huge stock appreciation just for essentially having an outlet to sell their technology and to contract manufacture effectively someone else's vehicles.
But the partnership and the fate of the Badger now seem to be up in the air, following fraud and sexual assault allegations against Nikola founder and former executive chairman Trevor Milton. Still, there is hope that the deal will go through.
We're totally excited about the opportunity. You know, we've been developing fuel cells here for commercial use for a while. We've got a joint venture with Honda. We think we have a technological lead on it. Nikola agrees. So the opportunity to put our fuel cells into a Class 7 and 8 vehicle is spectacular. So we know there's great operational cost advantages, there are great efficiencies, and there's great opportunities. So we continue to work the opportunity with Nikola.
A public filing by Nikola says the deal may be terminated by either side if it's not closed by December 3rd.
Wow, there's that December 3rd date again. Nikola World, insider share lockup ending, and this agreement being able to be pulled out of, if necessary. Wow, it's just such a coincidence that everything seems to be lining up with this December 3rd date, isn't it?
The Badger was something we were doing because a lot of people were interested in it. And we said from the beginning that if we build the Badger, it will be with a partner. If we don't have a partner, we probably won't build the Badger.
I don't know about you guys, but that to me kind of sounds like there will never be a Badger. Now keep in mind, everything in this video is my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I'm very high. I might be making everything up too, so please do your own research and do not trust a word I say. With that being said, I'd hate to be one of the early supporters who reserved a Badger in order to obtain their VIP tickets worth $1,000+ to Nikola World to meet the man himself, Trevor Milton. Sorry, slip of the tongue, I swear. And if you do happen to be one of the very kind and forgiving people who decided to reserve this piece of computer-generated vaporware, I might suggest maybe, just maybe, attempting to get your deposit back, because I have a funny feeling in the future Nikola may need that money to cover some of their legal fees, of which there will be many.
Then, in January of 2018, Nikola released a video titled Nikola One Electric Semi-Truck in Motion. The video seemed to show the Nikola One speeding along an empty road. 2 years later, the video, among 43 or so other claims, was cited as evidence of fraud by Milton in a scathing report released by short-selling firm Hindenburg Research. Hindenburg said that Nikola had staged the semi to make it appear as if it were moving by rolling it down a hill. Nikola rebutted the fraud claims, saying that there were dozens of inaccurate allegations in the report. Milton took to Twitter, calling the report a hit job and pointing out that the short seller stood to gain from tanking Nikola stock. But the company didn't dispute Hindenburg's claim that it had staged a video showing the Nikola One appearing to be functional, when it wasn't. I asked Nikola's CEO about the Bloomberg and Hindenburg reports over a remote interview. How do you respond to critics that say that Nikola has a track record of exaggerating the capabilities of its vehicles?
Now, I'm no lawyer, but I do believe that I have sufficient intellectual capacity to make the call here. This isn't a rumor, this isn't an allegation, this isn't unfair criticism, this is a fact. Nikola has, with substantiated evidence, made false and misleading claims repeatedly throughout its history to investors and others. This is well documented in the Hindenburg Research Report and plenty of other places as well. Not up for debate. So how will the current CEO of the company actually address these allegations? Or will he not address these allegations?
So we built the Nikola One back in 2016 as a concept prototype. And during the manufacturing or the building of that prototype, we made a pivot to hydrogen power. The original concept for the Nikola One was natural gas. So even during the construction of that prototype back in 2016, we were in the process of pivoting to our current business model, which is hydrogen-based for a fuel cell truck.
Mark, you naughty, naughty boy. Complete question dodge. Look, the easy route out here to say, yeah, you know that fuckface Trevor Milton, he was out there talking smack, we got rid of him, he doesn't know what he's talking about, we're really sorry about rolling a fucking truck down a hill that couldn't propel itself, then releasing a video called Nikola One in motion and passing it off as if it was propelling itself. We're really sorry, but that was all Trevor's fault. Instead, Mark completely deflects the question, doesn't address the rolling truck, doesn't address any of the claims of exaggeration, instead just goes herp derp derp, we were making a prototype, herp derp derp, then we pivoted. Hey, look over there, it's a distraction.
So why did Nikola end up saying that video, the motion in one video, the truck was moving by itself when it clearly wasn't?
Now Mark, answer very carefully here. This was a rather direct question. Why did you intentionally deceive investors?
So why did Nikola end up saying that video, the motion in one video, the truck was moving by itself when it clearly wasn't?
Our point is that the Nikola One was a groundbreaking prototype, and we learned a lot from building it, and that helped give birth to the business model that we've been following in the years since.
Abandon ship! Abandon ship! No integrity, no honesty, no ownership, no responsibility. Red fucking flag.
Back in 2019, Nikola teased having invented a new battery cell technology that Milton said is the biggest advancement we have seen in the battery world. It later came out in a lawsuit that Nikola intended to obtain this breakthrough technology by acquiring battery company Zapco. Nikola sued Zapco after finding out that the battery technology that Zapco claimed to have didn't exist. In a subsequent press release, Nikola refuted that Zapco was the inventor of this breakthrough battery technology and says that the battery advancements are related to an R&D partnership with an academic institution. Still, Nikola seems to be outsourcing battery production to suppliers. There are some claims that Nikola has not come up with any of its own battery and fuel cell tech, but is instead using technology built by GM and Romeo Systems. What's your response to this?
Batteries for vehicles use cells that are put into modules, which are then put into battery packs. Nikola owns our battery pack design. The battery pack that we're using on the prototypes in Germany today contains modules that were developed by Romeo and contains cells that were provided by another supplier. Cells are provided by only a handful of people for almost all vehicles worldwide.
In the past, Milton has also often touted that Nikola is able to produce hydrogen at an extremely low price. Here he is on the Tesla Charts podcast.
We've been able to chop the cost of hydrogen from $16 a kilogram down to, we're down below $3 a kilogram on our hydrogen now, which is $4 per kilogram is parity with diesel.
Again, I asked Nikola for clarification. Is Nikola currently producing any hydrogen?
Nikola is not producing hydrogen at the moment.
So this breakthrough hydrogen technology, the techniques that Nikola has developed to bring the cost of hydrogen production down to economically viable levels that they're promising in their technology, the range they're promising, the cost per mile that they're promising, all dependent on technology that hasn't actually been developed or implemented and therefore is all theoretical / complete and utter horseshit.
Nikola has drawn criticism even for technology that does exist. One of the specific claims that Hindenburg made was that Nikola regularly uses off-the-shelf products from third parties and then claims that it makes its parts in-house. One of the things that they pointed to was the inverters in the Nikola 2 powertrain that were made by Cascadia Motion. Why did Nikola say that its technology was mostly proprietary and then backtrack and say that it's mostly an aggregator? Kind of which is it?
So Nikola from the beginning has been a partner company. We partnered very early on with Bosch, particularly on the e-axles, on the batteries, on inverters. We've partnered with Bosch on those components for several years now. We partner with other companies on other parts of our business model, Nel for hydrogen stations and things like that. So we've been very clear about the fact that we use partnerships in developing our vehicles.
Another question dodging non-answer here. Mark, just own up, dude. We've seen the videos of Trevor Milton out there pointing at technology, pointing at an inverter, and literally claiming that Nikola makes their own inverters while using an off-the-shelf inverter in the video that he's pointing at. Allegedly.
But the software, the design of the components overall, that's what Nikola does.
Nikola is even embattled in a lawsuit with Tesla. In the suit, Nikola accuses Tesla of stealing the design for the Tesla Semi from the Nikola One. In a countersuit, Tesla claims that Nikola itself stole the design from Croatian automaker Rimac Automobili.
Funnily enough, it's this patent trolling lawsuit which led me to discover Nikola in the first place and also erected the first gigantic red flag in my mind. Just imagine a company with no revenue and no products on the market suing Tesla for a couple of $1 billion in damages. Why? Because apparently Tesla borrowed/stole some design elements from their unreleased, unproduced vehicle, which it later turns out apparently wasn't even designed by Nikola in the first place. I firmly believe that this, suing Tesla, was the single greatest fuck up in the history of Nikola, and boy does it have some stiff competition. Just imagine suing a company that's trying to change the world, that's innovating, that's already open sourced their own patents to try and help other companies to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Just imagine suing them for a few $1 billion when you haven't even released a fucking product. This got a lot of eyes on the company. Who the fuck are you to try and do that? A lot of red flags here. Next minute, Hindenburg research report. So here's a pro tip, Nikola, anyone in business in fact, don't be a dick. It'll usually come back and bite you in the ass.
As of Q2 of 2020, the only revenue that Nikola has recorded has come from solar panel installations for Milton. Even the CEO seemed confused by this.
I'm not sure exactly why that was included. We're a pre-revenue company. We're going to make money by building trucks and by providing fuel for them.
Now, this is entirely my own personal opinion, but I personally believe that the odds of Nikola permanently remaining a pre-revenue company are far greater than the odds of Nikola ever producing any legitimate revenue. Of course, anything could happen in the future, but the track record of lies, deception, lack of accountability, lack of ownership, and an unwillingness to directly answer any questions about their sordid past, red fucking flags for days. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Don't forget, if you'd like 3 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. Sign up, open a new account, deposit $100. You'll get 3 free stocks. 2 of them valued between $8 and $1,600 each. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.